So who after Russell? Any thoughts yet?
We are already talking to a number of coaches. We've got a number of applications. We are also coming up with some sort of a hybrid model in the interim where our teams can go and train with some of the best coaches in the world. I think you will get to know very soon once the decisions are made, approved by SIAC accordingly.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'll also want to, as I told you, I mean, my whole idea was to understand from you what's going on. Tell me something. I mean, you've got tremendous talent in your sport. People between the age of what? I mean, Tilottama Sen is 14. There are many, 14, 15, 16, right up to 22, 23. I mean, incredible talent, and all of them have won world medals. So what's the selection criteria going to be? Last Olympics was a certain kind, did not work. What is your plan in terms of getting the best Indian team to Paris?
So I'll tell you what our selection criteria is at this point of time. We take a weighted revolving average of the last 4 trials, and we allow the athlete to drop one score, which may be extraneous. The athlete could not be well, maybe they're having a bad day, or they have some personal issues. So we allow them to drop one trial, and we take the average of the best 3 remaining trials. And that score is written in black and white. And we don't tinker with that. What that gives us, because these trials are in fairly quick succession, it gives us a current evaluation of the athlete's performance as it stands today. And therefore, these, with the support of the coaches and with the support of the sports science team, we feel that we'll be able to carry the athlete through to the next few competitions. And we do not, unless there is an extremely compelling reason, I am not in favor of tinkering or using any subjective judgment on changing the team, except for the fact that what is written in the selection policy. We want it to be absolutely transparent and absolutely predictable so that the athletes can also plan their entire process around it. We want it to be fair.
Fair point. I mean, now let me sort of ask you something which anyone who follows shooting will want to know. August is the World Championships. How many quotas can we expect?
Well, it's shooting is an individual sport and a team sport. Okay, people have good days, people have bad days. It's also a relative sport. You play against yourself and you play against what's around you. So it's very difficult to predict exact number of quotas. But what I can confidently tell you is that the last Olympics, we had 15 quotas, and I am hoping that we'll be able to beat that, if not match that, for this Olympics. So whether it comes out of the World Championship, whether it comes out of the Asian Shooting Championships, post that, or the other competitions in the future, I'm confident we'll have as large, if not a larger contingent. And I'm also confident that our conversion rate, which we've been monitoring for the last 2 years, which is getting better and better, going from getting into the finals to winning medals. I think that is going to be key for us to get the medals in these championships.
See, that's the next question. I mean, before Tokyo, we are also responsible, and I take blame for this. We hyped up the shooting contingent big time, right? Whether it's a Saurabh, Manu, and we sort of, the media can put a lot of pressure. And these are all young men and women. I mean, the Olympic Games, after all, can make or break your life. So the kind of pressure an Olympic Games will exert on an athlete will be 200 times more than a World Cup or a World Championship. How do you insulate them? I mean, how are you looking at that? How do you get these young men and women to deal with pressure better come either China, Hangzhou Games or Paris?
So the elaborate sports science department that we have is meant for just for that, to analyze and deal with individual issues of individual athletes in a very subjective manner. And that's why the focus is there on the entire system, backed by data and evidence. We've been using new technology. We've been using new systems in place whereby we can predict and explain to the athletes on the actual results of their performances based on their breathing technique, based on their follow-through, based on the number of seconds after which they release the trigger, based on the number of seconds they hold the gun up, what their heartbeat is. So there's a lot of science which has come into the game, as it has for most games, I think. every game is becoming more and more technically advanced, and we have to keep up with it. So we are hoping to get a lot of buy-in into the system from the athletes, and we are hoping that we've got almost, I think, five psychologists on the team now, apart from the HP2 who himself is a very well-renowned sports psychologist. And we are hoping that we get a complete ecosystem which helps and supports the athletes. But the trick in the entire matter is to insulate the athletes from pressures. And the pressures can be both in building up the athlete or breaking down or criticizing the system. I think it's responsible media like yours who would go a long way in helping and supporting us to ensure that, whatever comes out in the media is also, of course, you have to report the news, but you also report aspects of the entire system which support the sport of shooting in the long run rather than take away from it. Gossip is easy to report, but fact and actuality is what helps the shooters.